Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. If you like the things that we talk about in these podcasts each week, check out the Basic Course at michaelneill.org/basic course. And it's a free introduction to the principles behind the inside-out understanding that I share in each week's episode. And this week, what I want to talk about is one of the single most helpful pieces of advice that I've ever been given that I didn't understand for about 30 years. And that advice was quite simply, when in doubt, just be yourself. And the reason I didn't get it is because I had no idea who that was. So when I first heard it, I was like, that just sounds like generic. But yeah, when in doubt, just be yourself. Okay, yeah, good idea. Yeah, I'm going to do that. But since who I thought I was a worthless piece of crap, that didn't really sound like great advice to me. It was like, okay, when in doubt, be a worthless piece of crap. Then it was, well, okay, I guess I'm a high-functioning depressive. So when in doubt, be a high-functioning depressive. And all of these ideas I had about who I was, they weren't attractive. So the idea that there was anything good that would come of deliberately being myself. In fact, I kind of thought a better piece of advice would be, when in doubt, be anything but you. And then I started to see that sometimes I really was kind of amazing. The main times were when I was teaching and training. I was capable, I was responsive, I felt great, I was really helpful to people, I was filled up with love and kindness, and I thought, oh, well, maybe that's the self that they mean. So I would try and be in trainer mode more of the time, because I thought, okay, being myself means be the way I am when I'm training. So I'm going to go into trainer mode more of the time. And sometimes it kind of worked, and most of the time I just forgot. And it felt forced and it felt phony, and a lot of the time it just didn't make much of a difference. But I somehow knew that piece of advice, when in doubt, just be yourself, that there was something to it. I couldn't reject it. And then one day I realized that the way I was, the difference between trainer mode and the rest of my life is that in most areas of my life, I was in the habit of overthinking everything and putting all my attention on me and what was wrong with me. And when I was training, I wasn't that interested in me. When I was training, I would get extrospective. I would get my mind off of me and onto other people in the world around me. So I thought, oh, okay, so really, that's me. And the way I am the rest of the time is just a bad habit of overthinking things. So I'll try and be in me mode instead of overthinking mode. And that, again, it sort of worked. And a lot of the time it just felt very kind of intellectual and clever. And then I tried to simplify it and I said, okay, so being myself means being my best self, me at my best, me with less on my mind. And so when I would feel like I wasn't being my best self, I would try and think less, which is, if you've ever tried it, like try to think less right now and see how that goes. And most of the time, you just think more about thinking less and it just gets really messy. And so this great piece of advice, this simple piece of advice, I managed to overthink to the point where it was kind of exhausting to try to be myself. And then one day it occurred to me, what if being yourself means being exactly who you are right now? It means feeling however you feel, thinking whatever you think, doing whatever you're doing. And I had the most extraordinary surge of power run through my body. The most extraordinary surge of absolute presence fill me up from toe to head. And I realized, oh, that was like getting on, if you've ever been in a really tall building, they usually have elevators that go up floor by floor, and then there's elevators that skip a bunch of floors and go straight to the restaurant or the viewpoint at the top. So if you think about our level of consciousness, our level of understanding, our level of presence, our level of awareness and understanding of life as being like a great glass elevator. If you haven't read it, check out The Inside Out Revolution, and I share the metaphor of the glass elevator of consciousness. That being exactly who you are right now is like an instant consciousness elevator. It shoots you up to the top floor, and you are immediately present. You are immediately resourceful. And even if what you were thinking and feeling wasn't particularly pleasant, the second you own it, instead of trying to fix it, change it, reject it, or judge yourself for it, it becomes perfect. And I've come to really see that if you show up, be yourself, which just means be exactly who you are right now, and see what happens. What happens is inevitably way cooler and way better than what you were probably expecting. Have fun. Learn heaps. Try this. You can do it right now. Be exactly who you are right now and see what happens. And I'll talk with you soon.